I looked at all that. I'm good.
I just got an email from her back. That's good.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. You'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome to this Valentine's edition of the Clinton County Commissioners meeting. First up, as always, is our public comment section. This is for those that are not on the agenda somewhere else, so I'll open it up if we have anyone for public comment. Doesn't look like it, so next we will go to Jackie Clements. Good morning, Jackie.
Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackie Clements. I am the Director of Professional Development and Planning at the Association of Indiana Counties, and also the Program Manager for the TREX program, which is one of the reasons why I'm here today. I'm here for a couple of reasons. The Association of Indiana Counties and NACO, the National Association of Counties, have partnered together to provide retirement flag boxes to all of the 92 counties in the state. So I have next to the wall here a box, and it's not heavy, but it's heavier than I can pick up with one hand, that we would like to give to you to place in the courthouse somewhere, so that people can bring their flags in to retire those flags. And then if you dispose of them from there on out, I know that the VFW has a retirement box also, but we're trying to make it convenient. And this is one of those things that NACO and the association felt very strongly about, is promoting, the retirement of the flags properly. The other reason I'm here is for a program that is fairly new. I say fairly new. It's 5 years old now. It's hard to believe it's 5 years old. And it's called TREX. And TREX is a tax refund exchange compliance system program that affords local units of government to recover debt owed to them through Indiana income tax refunds, much like child support is done, and universities and state organizations do. We are fortunate here in Clinton County, and I am so proud, and I brag on Clinton County as my home county. We had last year 10 units of government that participate in this program. All 4 schools do, several of our small towns, our county treasurer, our county community corrections, our county probation, our county EMS, all participate in this program. And because they do that, there were 10 last year. We have a little certificate here that's just a simple certificate of achievement that I'm going to just kind of leave here and not try to carry around for you to have. I also want to recognize a few of the groups that were very strong. I can tell you in the first year, Vicki Bailey out at Clinton Prairie School, she was instrumental in helping me get the word out here in Clinton County, was one of our big advocates, and she was an MVP to the program in that first year and received that award. But this year, we have 2 units of government that were in the top in their areas on the collection that they received. The first one, and Nancy couldn't be here today, was Clinton County Probation. They received $24,051.67. And I have a celebratory check that I would like to leave here for Nancy to pick up. And she knows that it's here. She just couldn't be here. She had family things. Along with this $24,000 that was recouped through the refund program, there was $176,000 that was actually matched. So of that $176,000, a lot of those people came in and paid prior to any fees or additional penalties applied to that debt. And so that, there was really more than this 24,000. There was somewhere up around $100,000 more that was recouped by the probation department in that effort. The other unit that we have, and Jeff is with us today, is the EMS. And our EMS was second in the state, only second to White River Township, which is Johnson County, a much larger area. And they recouped $35,922.20. Jeff, if you'd like to come get this.
Greg.
I mean Greg.
Same difference.
I don't know why I said Jeff. So we want to present this to you if we can. And they had 106,000 that was offset for those. And I can remember back when I was auditor here in the county, in January, we were writing off a lot of debt that wasn't collected. This is saving that, and we truly appreciate your efforts and Sandy's efforts in participating in this program, and I'm sure everyone here does. Help
Thank you
keep
for
costs
promoting
down.
it. I mean, you've been a big help to recoup this, so
Yeah.
what an avenue to collect.
And there is no expense ever to the county except the mailing of a letter. When there's a match, you mail a letter, and we'll even do that for you if you so choose. But there is absolutely no expense, and it's a great thing for our debtors because they never go to tax collection in this program. They have the ability to come in and pay before any additional fees are applied, unlike tax sale or collection agencies. Once you submit it, that fee is applied and it stays there. If they come in and pay in their 30-day grace period, then they never have any additional fees. And so it's a win-win for everybody. Revenue in sooner, and the debtor can be saved some collection costs. Because sometimes debt gets lost, we forget. I mean, mail doesn't always get where it's supposed to get. So I think it's a win-win situation, so thank you.
Thank you.
The other person that I want to talk about, and why they weren't in the top categories as treasurer, is Gina. Gina had a big ordeal last year in her new software, and she stuck with the program, and she continued in the program, and she put 185% effort at least, and if not more, working the program in that new software conversion. We all know software conversions can be a racket. She also worked with the software company this year in getting the file correct, so I believe it's a little easier for her this year. So I want to commend Gina for the efforts that she did on behalf of county treasurers in the state that use the same software company she does, because she worked very hard, and it was very difficult for her last year. So the only other thing I want to promote is our Institute for Excellent program, and we have one coming up that could be of very big interest to you as commissioners. And it is a disaster preparedness and recovery institute class coming up this Thursday. They are offered in a recorded version. It will be Thursday, held at the Indiana Historical Society building, downtown Indianapolis on the corner of Ohio and Illinois. We have people from Homeland Security come in, and we also have the people from Jefferson County Courthouse, their county attorney and one of their former commissioners that were there when the courthouse burned. They had a major fire. I think maybe we were at a recorders meeting, maybe about 10 years ago. They had a major fire up in the top of the courthouse, and they're going to explain what they did and how they did it. And then there's also a lot of resilience money that's out there available in those disaster programs that Homeland Security feels may not be very well known. So we have several people from several different departments of Homeland Security. You can register for it online. We would love to have you come down and take it in person, but I know schedules are busy, and so the recorded version will be out like a week later, and it's a great program. So any questions for me about any of those?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to just kind of tuck this under here, Brett, if you would take care of that, and I'm going to sneak out.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Thank you to all our department heads that participate. It sounds like it's a great program, and it's nice to see some tangible results. I'm going to back up a minute. I got ahead of myself here. I'd like to welcome Mr. Bert Weaver to the board, who's now representing District 1. So it's good to have you on board, and we're looking forward to working with you and getting started. So.
Likewise the same, Jordan, thank you.
Yep. Next is the bids for the fairgrounds. You have the bids, Tom?
I do. Looks like we just have one.
Okay.
Okay, this one is going to be from FH, looks like Passion, SN Nielsen and Associates LLC. Looks like here they have an overall cost of $1,580,000.
$1,580,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, let me make sure that is paid. I think that's it. And now there's obviously a lot more to this, and there's a breakdown of different various costs and whatnot, but it looks like that is the overall bid.
Okay. I would
Can I
suggest
see
that,
that, Tom?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bert.
even though we have one, I think we should still take it under advisement and look it through, if you guys are okay with that.
Make the motion, we take it under advisement.
Second, is there a breakdown of the cost in here? Or is it just a lump sum?
It is just a lump sum.
Okay, so can we get a detailed breakdown of what the bid is for the scope of work? Okay, thanks.
Yep. All right, motion carries 3-0. We'll take it under advisement and wait for the detailed breakdown to come in as well.
Thank you, sorry about that.
Next up is Rick Campbell, Highway Update.
Morning, Rick.
Which, starting February 3rd, we had a big snow. And we had the roads all cleaned up, and it opened up Friday. So I gave the guys the day off Saturday. We probably should have worked, but we took the day off.
I don't blame
We
you.
came back in early at 4 a.m. Sunday morning and started cleaning them up again. And we've been doing that all the way to the 7th, I believe. We wanted to come in, we came in early, 3 o'clock in the morning so that they could have school. So we got everything cleaned up that Monday. I want to thank, I had 3 extra guys come in. I want to thank them again for coming in and help us plow snow. They did a great job. I want to thank my mechanics for keeping our trucks running. They did a great job keeping the trucks going. Everybody had a truck. I want to thank John Deere for coming in and getting the tractor going again. We had a pollution exhaust problem. So they got that straightened out for us, and we was able to keep using that tractor. Let's see. Last meeting, I asked you guys if I could hire somebody, and I did.
Okay.
And he starts March the 7th. Okay. And let's see, also, I ordered more salt on the 8th, and surprisingly, it started showing up on the 9th, so that was good. And the snow's been melting, and the side ditches are full, the snow's been melting, and the water is standing in the roads. We have a lot of ice in the roads, so we're putting high water signs up. We're also out there today scraping with the graders, trying to scrape the ice off and salt it. And anyway, that's what we're doing today, and we're trying to haul sand in today because we was running low on sand. And the bids were opened on bridge number 36, and Milestone got the low bid,
Okay.
and NDOT approved the bid. And NDOT also got some of that Biden grant money for infrastructure, and they have agreed to pay 100% of Bridge 36.
Nice.
It won't cost us anything. They're going to pay for the construction of the bridge and the inspection of the bridge.
Great.
And so that's gonna save us some money there.
Because that was originally a community crossings bridge, so it was.
No, it was 80/20.
It was 80/20.
It was 80/20.
Okay, and now it'll be 100%.
Now they're gonna pay 100%. We got one more bridge that qualifies, but everything's gotta go right to get that. If everything doesn't go right, we go back to the end of the line. I ordered some speed limit signs, solar speed limit signs that show your speed, just like the city of Frankfort has got. And I want to put those up in front of Clinton Prairie High School. Those are supposed to be here tomorrow. We'll have to do a little reading and a little studying on them to figure out how they work, but we're going to put those up in front of Prairie.
Okay.
And that's all I have right now.
Okay.
Have anything for him?
No, just
Hey,
thank
Rick.
you, thank you.
Yeah, tell the guys thank you for a
Yeah.
good job that they did during that time.
All the extra
I
work.
will, I will. Thank you.
Yeah.
Rick, what was the other bridge, the one that everything has to go right, just to refresh my memory?
We're not let it out right now.
What,
I think it's 67.
okay, all right.
I think that's right.
I just want to put a note here. So,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you for all the hard work during the snow and the leadership we had across the county. I mean, multiple departments working together. It went very smoothly, I felt like, and overall, we were able to get people back up and moving and going around the county as best we could. So thank you for that. Next up is Liz Stitzel.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll apologize in advance. I'm going to be a little bit longer this morning than I have been as of late. So law of averages, right?
Yeah.
I had a. Not the mic.
Thank you.
All right, so something I've tried to do since I came in as director, which I guess I should quit saying, 'cause it's been quite a few years now, but I try each year to just give a general report to each of the legislative bodies and to the fiscal bodies as well. So you guys will be the first ones to receive this. And basically, I just sum up what we've seen in the last year, so you can kind of get a bird's eye view. For county commissioners and county council, I don't break out the small towns separately, but when I go to them, I pull those out separately. So for the year end for 2021, and I do many of these reports together, and then I kind of break them out. So Frankfort's included because our economic impact is made together, not as one entity or another. So the city and the county together issued 1,344 permits in 2021. So that's up just a little from 1,327 the year before that. We issued 39 new homes. And those would be not remodels where a house was vacant, but that's a complete new home, an increase from 34 the year before. Within Frankfort, there were 18 new homes issued, and that's up from 10 the year before. And I would note they've got a whole new development there, I think we're all aware of, where they've been seeing a great deal of success in selling lots and getting homes built. There were 17 new subdivisions created in 2021, supplying 21 new lots. So that was an increase over the previous year, 9 containing 12. And then here's where there's some numbers that I'm going to note before I give the numbers so you're aware. So I always check as I create these numbers to see what my data is that I'm pulling in. And in this case, I noted that for the city of Frankfort, there is a lot of permits. In fact, I would say a significant number, more than 50%, where valuations didn't get entered in the permit. they've kind of had some learning curve and some turnover over there. They're going to try to get that more next year because they didn't realize that we do a report every year. And that's part of why that's important. And but the point is, when you look at these numbers, keep in mind that a quarter of the data or more is missing. So we may not actually have decreased by the amount or that the data shows, or maybe even at all. We just don't know what we're missing. So we saw a total of $64,400,799 and 39 cents of new valuation. And that was down from roughly 93 million in 2020, 31% decrease. However, as I noted, I'm not sure that's not actually an increase. There were a lot of industrial permits that didn't have valuations on the Frankfurt side that may well have pushed that number back up again. And then I break that out specific to Clinton County. On our side, we issued $54,179,347.08 of additional valuation, and that was up from just under 44 million, so a 19% increase on our side. And Frankfurt's numbers, you can see, are a pretty significant decrease, but again, I think that actually isn't what it appears to be. I think they were busy. I think they did well, equal at least. We just can't show it in the numbers. And then in terms of industrial and commercial construction in particular, $35,130.75 of industrial and commercial construction was permitted in 2021. So on the county side, that was $29,880,719.75, which was up by roughly $1 million from 2020. So slight growth. Now, the thing I tell people to keep in mind with our communities is one or two projects can have a really dramatic influence. So in 2020, NHK went on that assessed valuation. We saw a humongous jump. So what this actually says to me is we held steady with the growth NHK gave us in the following year, when the year before, half of that valuation was NHK. So that's actually significant, even though the number only looks like a slight increase. And we anticipate, all goes well, the solar farm will do permitting this year, so we're going to see another huge jump, which may or may not be consistent with the trend when they pull their permits. I've included some basic information, just summing up violations. So in this case, I include the Area Plan Commission zoning violations and the County Commissioner's grass and unsafe building violations in one set of reports. I don't separate them out. So we currently have 54 unresolved cases right now. We have 8 that are older than 2 years, which is actually an improvement. We had a few old ones that did close out this last year. Most of those are in litigation. And then I would note in 2021, there's a lot of other info there. I'll let you read through if you want. But in 2021, we opened 79 new cases. 34 of those we're still working on. We've opened 5 cases so far in 2022 and closed 1. But normally violations don't pick up much until things warm up and people get outside. In terms of Board of Zoning Appeals, we heard 33 cases, which was down. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I wouldn't judge development by your Board of Zoning Appeals. Those are typically requests to get exceptions from following the rules or special permission to do something that wouldn't otherwise be allowed. So given that our other growth numbers are up, I think that just indicates fewer people were in situations where they were unable to follow the written rules, and that's actually a good thing. And then I break that down. I won't read through it all, but I break it down per town or township so you can get a sense for where those things are. If a town or township is not mentioned, it's because nothing happened there. Kirkland on the list is Kirkland Township. The town of Kirkland did not have any BZA hearings last year. So that concludes that report. And before I move on to my other report, I want to make sure, do you have any questions for me relative to this one?
You guys have any questions?
I do not.
Okay. No.
Perfect.
Thank you,
And if at some later point you do, just reach out.
Thank you, Liz.
Can you two share? Awesome. I'll give you this after I present. Okay, so this is the other yearly report that we put together for the commissioners. And the unsafe structure, this is specific to your violation cases and only unsafe structures. And we're pretty sure we haven't missed one on here. We went through it twice this morning to be sure. What we've seen over time since the ordinance was adopted, which Bert would remember, I believe he was one of the original commissioners when this ordinance was adopted, we had a ton of structures starting out. But the thing about Clinton County is, for the most part, structures get reused or torn down. The majority of situations and citizens are responsible, with respect to that. And then with increasing real estate values over the last few years, if a structure is reusable, there's often somebody trying to take advantage of it and get it in good repair again. So we haven't seen things come back onto the list, generally speaking, over time, as quickly as we've addressed them. And last year, I noted at the bottom, and I believe Bert was actually the original complainant on it back when this was adopted, but the Colfax Manson elevator, we were able to successfully get down last year, and it took a long time, but that was because of the amount of cost that it took to get that down, and the community there around that elevator does greatly appreciate that. So that was a huge win. There's 5 cases right now that we're continuing to work with, and so I'm going to go through them, and then I'll kind of let you know what my thoughts are regarding it for this next year. So the first one's been there since 2015. That's the Jefferson School. That was held up for a long time with a deed issue that made it impossible to levy liens or do anything in terms of enforcement. So the deeds were resolved in 2020. Tom was instrumental in getting that done. And a set of liens was placed, but nothing has changed with the structure since then. The next oldest case is from 2019. It's on Oak Street in Hillisburg. We had hoped in 2020 there was a tax sale buyer for that house. However, that did fall through, and it is still in the original owner. The owner is deceased. There is a squatter that's been in that house without ownership for some period of time. The house continues to sit there, but we need to come back around to it now that it's clear it's not going to move to a new owner. Since 2018, we have what would have been known as the greenhouse there on Michigan Town Road. This is another one where the commissioners chose to take a pause on it last year because there was a tax sale purchaser. But it looks like, from looking at the records, that the owner did pay the taxes before the property transferred. So there's no change and no progress on that. That's still owned by an LLC. It's Wagner's LLC. Then here in 2021, we opened a case on 600 North in Forest. It's actually the post office. And there was part of that building that was collapsing, and employees actually called that complaint in out of concern for safety. And they started on repairs, haven't been completed. There's engineering required, and we're kind of working through that. We do expect that to resolve without requiring a tear down. It's just a matter of getting there. And then the barn in Antioch, which Kat noted, she just got word they've completed tear down, so we anticipate that's going to get closed. So I know, Bert, you're just stepping on, but kind of to make you aware, the last few years, and it's timely since we just opened bids for grandstands, the money that's used for unsafe structures has as we've had fewer unsafe structures to tear down, has been sort of temporarily reappropriated towards the Fairground Grandstands project to help offset those costs, with the understanding that if there's cases that need to be addressed, we take those to council specifically, and they've been generous in allowing us to not have a complete dead end on enforcement while we're working through the transition. So there's nothing in the budget starting out, for tearing down unsafe structures, but that normal pot, council's kind of aware of, and they will work with us when we go to them. So that's what happened with the elevator, is we were able to work with council, and they pushed money back across to the commissioners to be able to take care of that tear down. So there's 3 cases here that are older. I'm just going to be honest, the Jefferson School, you're probably talking $250,000 or more in tear down and removal. Is a massive building. It is not recoverable at this point. The ceiling, as of last year, started collapsing on the back corner, which is kind of a new development. So we do, however, have the ability to place liens, and we did that once in 2020 and haven't done it since. So I would recommend that the commissioners consider getting more aggressive with setting liens on that. And then we start talking about a more long-term, multi-year plan for how we get, like what we did with the elevator, how we get to getting that down, and coordinating that with council. The next two, though, are two houses. So houses, depending on bids, usually cost anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 apiece to get removed. Both have been here for a long period of time and have not had forward motion. I would recommend the commissioners consider condemnation and tear down this year if, in working with council to get that funding for both Michigan Town Road and Oak Street. We probably need some assistance from Tom in working through how we handle the squatter that happens to be in that house. We did have one also in Hillisburg that we tore down here a year or so ago where there was somebody kind of using the house but not repairing it. And we were able to work through that. So, but I think for the bang for the buck, for, let's just generously say under 40,000, we could take care of two of the remaining three larger, long-standing items and get those resolved. And then, assuming we don't see some sudden influx, of additional complaints, start seriously talking over the next several years about could we work with council maybe to get a sinking fund going or to figure out how do we get a plan to resolve Jefferson School, and meanwhile placing liens on it regularly to try to increase the cost of non-compliance, to either hopefully find another owner who will comply and get those properties reused in a way that's beneficial for Jefferson, or motivate them to take action themselves and get it down and not require us to. So I'll pass that to you guys, but that was the result of our analysis when we looked through.
Okay, thank you, Liz. You guys have any questions?
I do not.
Okay.
Would you like me to bring any of those other three back up for discussion maybe in another month?
What do you guys think?
I was gonna make a motion, we go ahead and proceed with condemnation on 8989 Oak Street and 3330 Michigan Town Road,
I would second
because it's
that.
been, 3 and 4 years respectively, so. And
I
I'm
would
sure
s-
that you were talking about that when you
We were.
Yeah. So moved.
All right.
Second.
Okay,
Second.
so then we'll work with Tom and the complexities of both of those to figure out, since some time has passed, getting that done this year and bring it back when we have more to talk about. I had one quick question. I'd seen it on the agenda, but hadn't heard,
Motion carries 3-0. Josh made.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. All right, no,
I
continue.
I think the meeting that it was on got canceled and I hadn't heard a resolution. Were the Cambria alleys vacated? I know they were on the agenda for the meeting that was canceled.
No.
Okay.
It has not come back before us.
Okay, all right, no problem. That
Yep.
helps.
Yep.
So that's all I have, unless you have anything else for me. I think I've taken quite enough time.
No,
I don't.
I do.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate the update.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, under old business, we'll go with the sheriff 2022 compensation agreement. And in conjunction with that is the resolution 2022-02, which is resolving the compensation agreement. So Sheriff, I guess, do you have, I'll let you get to the podium so that it's on record here. I know Tom and your legal team had worked through it, or is there anything you're good with it?
Absolutely. Everything looks good, and appreciate Tom and getting to it and taking the time to get it done.
Yeah.
I have no issue with it, so I'll
Good.
come up and sign it after the meeting if that's
So,
okay.
Tanya Bond sent me an updated version just this morning,
Okay,
and I just emailed it off to you with she made some slight revisions that I see a problem with, but that's not the updated version that you have.
okay.
But
So I don't-
you're good with the updated version?
I'm good with the
Okay,
updated version.
Okay.
yeah.
How about if I stop
I'll-
by and see Jerry and tomorrow, get it signed?
Okay, I was gonna go ahead and make a
Unless you
motion.
can
to
print it
approve
off
Yeah,
Well,
right, the updated version, I understand, yeah.
do we need to wait then until our next meeting to have it signed? Or
You could do it today if you wanted to,
Okay. All right.
or you could wait till your next meeting.
I could print it.
Do it right. I would do it in the meeting.
Well, yeah, I think it needs to be done in the meeting, so
It does.
maybe we'll circle back around to, Jerry will print a copy.
That's
We
fine,
all
that's
can
great.
Look at it here and then we'll get to it.
Get it signed, get it done.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So,
Thanks, Tom.
all right, we'll move on to new business, and it would be the,
I am.
use of the commissioner's room for early voting?
Yes, after, let's see, I was at the, I believe it was either after our last meeting or after the council meeting last week. Ray Harris approached me about utilizing this room again for early voting and absentee voting, as opposed to making folks go upstairs and to the second floor. They could just vote on the first floor. So I told her, as we've done in the past, that I thought we would be open to, if we had a conflicting date for a meeting, we could move our meeting to the airport. Same goes for the council or anything else that's going on here, but it worked out very well in the past to use this room for early voting, for absentee voting. So if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to tell her we're good with that again.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Do you remember how long that is for? I should probably know, but I
I
don't.
think absentee voting starts, I want to say it's like 28 days before the election or something like
Okay.
that. So it's
So we'll probably have at least one meeting.
more than likely, yeah. we'll
It's
have
fine
a
with me,
meeting,
so.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess I'll entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion carries
Thank you, guys.
3-0 to utilize the commissioner's room for the early voting. Next up, we had an opening on the Wildcat Solid Waste Board. It's a representative from one of the towns, and I believe it was last week, there was the area plan town meeting. And so they nominated a new person for the commissioners to consider, which was from Mulberry, Randy Ravenscraft would be the new representative, if we would move forward with him. But that's who the town selected, so.
Okay.
Seemed like someone that was interested in what that board does and had the time to commit to it, so I was more than willing to accept that if you guys would.
I'm fine. I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Ravenscraft as the new representative for all the towns on the board of Wildcat Solid Waste District.
Second.
Motion carries 3-0. And in conjunction with that, we have, do you have a copy of it, Jerry, the interlocal? We have an updated interlocal agreement between the Board of Commissioners and the Wildcat Solid Waste District, and it's been working this way so far, right, Britt?
Yes.
But now we're just kind of putting it on paper to validate that the employees of the district will be employees of Clinton County. And so, as I said, it's been going on this way, but now we're putting it actually in paper, so it's memorialized for future reference. So I will entertain a motion to move forward with the interlocal agreement.
So moved.
Okay. you look-
This was an agreement. We've just updated it. So
yeah,
this,
correct.
it's been this way for a good while. In case Kurt wanted.
Did you? Okay. Second.
Motion carries 3-0 to move forward with the interlocal agreement. All right. Were you able to get Sheriff Kelly a copy of the?
I didn't get a copy, but I will.
Okay.
But I got the updated version.
Okay. All right.
I'll give a copy and sign.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that'll work. Next up, we will move to department head reports. We have any department heads? Chris?
Just real quick, I know we
Hey,
weren't mentioned.
can you go to the?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. It's online and it's easier
Yes, sir.
for the recording.
Good morning. Yeah, just real quick, when I came on in 14, I know we weren't in email, but Parkview employees are considered essential. With the snowstorm, you got 24 residents have to be fed and custodial duties and such as that. So my folks really stepped up. I had people out there. Rita's been with us 25 years. She spent 3 days out there. So I've comped them, comp days. I went ahead and looked at what they worked. But I wanted to let you guys know, obviously, we have to be out there. But the ones that didn't show up, we don't punish. obviously.
Right, yeah,
They got
yeah.
time without using PTO.
Yep.
So that's all I want to let you guys know.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris. Any other department heads? Pass this.
Morning, Renee.
Thanks, just
Jim
real,
now, so-
real quick, this afternoon, Laura Simmermeyer, she is the deputy director for the statewide 911 board. She's gonna stop in.
Ah.
She emailed me Friday, she's gonna be in the area, so she's gonna come down for a visit. And then my other thing, I'm secretary of LEPC. We had our first meeting, we meet quarterly. Commissioner Timmons served on that before, and Josh, you were his proxy.
Yes.
So I needed, so I could update the roster for the state. I didn't know if Commissioner Weaver was gonna take that position and you remain the proxy, or how you guys wanted to do that, but I
That's
needed
fine
to
with
know
me.
for the roster.
But I'll do
At least you
whatever
always
you-
get a
whatever you
meal
want,
out of
Bert.
it 4 times a year, so.
Did I hear a train? Paybacks are rough.
Yeah, I know.
Are you okay with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
That's fine.
Thank
Okay,
you.
that's, all right,
Yeah.
great.
Look
All right,
forward to
thank
being
you.
with you.
Yes, yep. Okay. I don't have anything unless you have anything else for me.
I do not. You guys have any? No.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you.
Greg.
Morning, Greg.
A couple of things to bring before the commissioners this morning. First off, with the Trex check, that's it's quite a program that they have that is helps us a lot for recouping in revenue. But I mean, obviously, I can't take the credit for that. I signed the original paperwork. Sandy in the EMS office runs this whole thing. She keeps up with the spreadsheet. She gets this in on a weekly basis. Like I said, I signed the paperwork to get it started, and I know the auditor's office has been involved in this too, and how we recoup this money. So it's a great program, and it does help out a lot. We are continuing with that too. Jackie and I were just talking out there where this program looks like it's going to build on what we have already. So it's a great tool for us to use. On the business side of that, we've talked about when we put the Boylston station up, one of our longer term plans was to put a generator out there. Already we've had Duke has been out of power out there twice, which Alan Dunn said that's a pretty regular thing in that area. So we got 2 bids for a generator. I've got one from RD and one from Adams Electric. RD came in with a bid of $97,2640 for a 24 kW, and Adams Electric came in at $13,809. We have that money available in public lit in line item 000-04-0013, and that is part of the EMS building furnishings that the money we had left over from the building out here. We have a balance of $39,600 in there, so I'd like to have the commissioner's approval that we okay that for the generator.
The only thing I was going to bring up about that, and I thought, but it may be too far out because I know it's kind of more of a urgency to get that
Yeah.
up and running, is there had been some conversation that Duke may be even willing to partner and help out on the expense side with that. But I don't have a problem moving forward with it, and maybe we can talk to Duke.
And follow up with
kind
them.
of Figure
Yeah.
something out,
Reimburses,
reimbursement,
right, yeah.
so.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think you need power. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
yeah.
Pretty important.
Yeah, by
to
the
get
time,
door up.
yeah, if the ambulance is in, then to get the 2x4 to prop the door up, and then to get out to let it back down again is an issue. And the only additional thing we'd look at is if the pressure for the gas, if that needed to be changed, to be regulated differently, that would be on us, but we won't know that until we get that information to the gas company for that, but everything else is included in that with RD's bid.
Yeah. I'll entertain a motion unless you guys have other questions.
I do not have any
No,
questions.
question.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the installation of the generator by RD Electric.
Okay, thank you, that'll be.
Second.
And we'll probably be looking at a program, I know we had talked about in Mulberry, there's no generator for that, so I think that's something we can look at. I know when we originally talked to them in negotiations with that building, we had talked about the placement of a generator, so we'll work with them too to see if we can partner with them on that also.
Yeah.
The only other thing I have is that the ambulances, the ones that we were to have delivered last year, that have already passed, are being delivered here in the next couple of weeks. So they're going to deliver those. The one thing that I had, obviously the money has already been allocated for that. I've talked with Republic First, and we can have our first payment set back until next year, into '23. All we have to do is make a down payment. We have, which would be around $48,000. We have that money available to do that, and that way we can put that payment into '23. It's already a budgeted line item for next year. I had talked to Josh about it earlier. Because we're taking direct delivery on those, we'd have to have a payment due. But we can, like I say, if we pay that money up front as a down payment, we can have those delivered and the payment will come out of '23. We do have that money available to make that down payment, and that is out of this year's ambulance lease. It shows that there's $101,430 still in the 1151 budget line item. So if I can have the approval to do that, and yeah, there'll be two new ones, sorry. Yeah, two new ones to be delivered, Osage, which are just exactly what we have. Those will be fully equipped with the power load system, the power cots, so that two people can load that patient in the back of the ambulance and not have additional help with that. So with the board's approval, that we can go ahead and make that done, and we'll transfer that. I'll get that with you, but that payment will come out of next year's budget, which is allocated at $154,000. So,
Okay. I'll make that a motion.
I'll second it for you.
Okay. Motion carries 3-0. Motion for the generator also carries
okay,
3-0.
thank you. All right, I've got nothing else to come before the board. If you guys have any questions for EMS.
How many ambulances does that make then, Greg?
We have, it'll put one in Mulberry, two in Frankfurt, one out at Boylston. Then we have the volunteer services. We still have one in Kirkland, Colfax, and Michigantown. And part of that program is looking to maybe move that one from Michigantown, since we have the Boylston station to the
Boylston,
Forest area.
okay.
Yeah, so kind of expanding that a little bit so we can get coverage throughout the county for that. But, yeah.
They consider moving it to Forest. They're interested.
Well, they are gonna go for it.
So
Yeah,
yeah, but
yeah.
everything else is going,
They've got the volunteers.
yeah, really well. So
Yeah, and I was on the call Friday, which you headed out,
Oh, yeah.
about the transfers with IU, and so it seemed like some progress and positive.
that is very positive. Yes. Yeah, I'm glad to see that, and I was glad to have the input of the medics that
Yeah, I
were
thought
there
that was great.
that had the background for transfers, when it worked, when it didn't work, and then I think putting some of that back into the ER to have some help in there for IU, which would also help along with the critical care transports too. So yeah, it was very, very informative. So
For me, it was impactful to hear those that are doing it daily, the
Yeah.
real life story. So hopefully it had that same impact with those at IU that are maybe not necessarily out of touch, but just out of reach of what's going on directly.
well, it's hard to make those decisions at that level. It's like, I don't run that every day, so I don't know all the issues with that. So it's nice to have the people who actually perform that to give their opinions and perspectives of how that works and what doesn't work. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll continue to move forward with that. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's very hopeful.
it's a good start.
Yep,
so.
it is. Excellent.
All right. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Any other department heads? Brett, good morning.
Bert, welcome to our board also.
Thank you.
And statutorily, because you're on that board, you're also going to be on the JRAC board.
Yeah.
We just met last Thursday, probably won't have another meeting till April or May. B. Weaver at ClintonCo.com,
That'll work.
get you in the loop.
Sort of it'll work.
Yeah, we'll get you the list.
Yes, sort of it'll work.
Of all the boards you've inherited, so. Any other department heads? All right, seeing none, I guess I'll circle back around with Sheriff Kelly and, obviously, I know short turnaround, but hopefully had a chance to. I did. All right, so,
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-02, the agreement between the council commissioners and sheriff approving sheriff's compensation for 2022. And in tandem with that, I will attach the 2022 compensation agreement.
Second,
All is one motion.
Okay.
second one.
I will, motion carries 3-0, and I think Jerry's going to print all those off, so we'll get them back here. But, and just to clarify, that compensation agreement is what Sheriff Kelly and council agreed to in the budget process in October, so just.
Right, and just for an update, it's outside the scope of the state statute because, and I've always felt that there should be a written agreement on the pay, just for the fact that it needs to be, because it's not the true word for word or how the money is drawn. So I appreciate the work that Mr. Little's put in and council commissioners.
Yep. Thank you, Sheriff. So, I think they're both up here whenever you're available.
Thank you.
Just that one. Just the contract. Yep.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on, we'll move to commissioner reports. We have anything under commissioner reports?
I don't have anything
Don't
today.
have anything?
Jordan, no.
I'm guessing Bert probably doesn't have any.
Commissioner Weaver, did you have anything you wanted to report?
I do not.
Okay.
I thank you for allowing me to join you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And I appreciate Josh railroading me already.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to claims. We have claims dated Monday, February 7th in the amount of $13,417.15. Claims dated February 11th in the amount of $23,681.63. Biweekly claims dated February 14th in the amount of $793,476.32. Guys had a chance to review them?
Yes, I'll make a motion we approve.
Second.
Motion carries 3-0 on approval of claims. Next is in payroll. We have payroll dated January 28th, 2022 in the amount of $1,236.48. We have payroll dated January 28th, 2022 in the amount of $831.95. And we have payroll dated January 28th, 2022 in an amount of $428,890.38. Do I have a motion to approve payroll?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion to approve payroll carries 3-0. Lastly, we have minutes from our February 1st meeting to approve.
Make a motion we approve minutes.
Okay. Abstaining?
Abstain.
So, motion carries 2-0 on the February 1st minutes. Seeing no other business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.